Hello everyone, so it's Thursday the 28th of August 2025, and I've finally got a little bit of money in my bank account, so I'm going to make a tentative purchase from the QRF Models website. Now, the story behind this, as you may know, is that back in April of this year, uh, the owner of QRF, or the previous owner of QRF, whose name escapes me momentarily, but never mind, doesn't matter, um, posted on Facebook that he was basically exasperated with the person he'd passed the business on to, and he was withdrawing um, the license for that person, whose name I do remember. I think it was Harry Dowden, to cast and sell uh, a large number of the ranges that QRF market, including Freikorps 15, which is a range that I buy a lot of, and also their vehicles, etc. There's another issue behind that I'll go into in a moment. Um, and this website, around a couple of months ago, did disappear, and it made you wonder whether that was because they had ceased trading or not. But it's since come back, and I now can't find the page on Facebook that the original owner published. I can just find references to it in the Lead Adventure forum, etc. But that may just be Facebook for you, because Facebook is very current, and pages that were current 4 or 5 months ago just sink into the uh, deeper into the page, and you can't find them any longer. So that might be the reason. I don't belong to Facebook anyway, but I have noticed that with some of the public pages that you can read. Anyway, it does make you very cautious about whether you're going to um, get anything back. So I'm just going to make a small purchase, and in doing so, I'm also going to show you um, what I was saying on an earlier video about how dreadful this website is to navigate anyway. So that just adds to the difficulties of this process. Um, so just what I'm actually using then, as my guide, is a number of pre-internet, well, probably the early days of the internet, um, catalogues, actually, printed catalogues that I've still got. I very rarely throw these things away. So I've got a quick reaction force uh, list from November 1998, and I've got a Freikorps catalogue from December 1996, and I'm going to use those to um, try and find what I want, the equivalent on this website. Um, Now, to begin with, let me just show you what I mean about the other thing that I buy from QRF is their modern range of vehicles, which is very useful in um, modern African wars, and I haven't been able to find those at all. But let's give it another go, show you what I mean. So if you go into the shop, you have four kind of icons here. So you've got the Freikorps range here, you've got the QRF models, you've got the Scenics, and you've got the naval vessels, Seawolf. So if the modern vehicles, like, so I'm going to look for a Challenger tank, for instance. Let's try and find that. I'm no, it's not going to be there, but it has to be under QRF models, doesn't it? It has to, let's click on that. And then what you get if you click on that is just 48 pages of all the models that they do. Now, I've tried scrolling through all these 48 pages and it's just impossible, but they all seem to be, um, well, 99% of them seem to be World War II models. So it says here, please use the filters below to narrow down our product selection, as misspelt, as we have a lot of products to choose from. Um, so if you try the filter categories, you get um, cold water modern 16. Surely it would be under that. Um, Lots of all these filters sort of relate to everything. They don't just relate to um, the models; they relate to the Freikorps range and all kinds of things. But let's if I click on cold water modern, nothing seems to happen. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, what you get is 16 items as promised. Um, Most of them are little scenic items, nothing to do with vehicles. You get two guns that look to me as though they're pre 20th century, and you get an M8 armored car. Not really sure what that is. Don't I think it's World War Two. It's certainly not part of Freikorps. It's not Freikorps. QRF's fantastic 1/100th, which is 15 mil modern range. They did British, German, French, American, all kinds of things. They did the interwar years. They did Vietnam, Korea, Malaya, um, masses and masses of stuff. None of it seems to be here. So maybe give them the benefit of the doubt. Um, the old owner. His first name was Jeffrey. Um, didn't pass it on to the new owner. Maybe it's not part of the new availability. Um, this is such a mess. This website. It's really hard to tell. If I go into the tags, you get exactly the same. Well, you seem to get nothing under Cold War. See 000. So maybe it's still waiting to be put on the website. Maybe he has got, maybe he did have them. Maybe, but then there's still the doubt about whether he's got the right. The Facebook entry was quite um, acrimonious. It said if he did attempt to sell, anything, it would be deemed piracy. So there's lots and lots of zeros there. Um, Brands, not sure what to make of that. And you can put in a search. So I've tried previously to search for the ferret, as you can see. These are all my um, entries that I put in vain attempt to find something. But let's try chieftain. Try and find a chieftain tank. Uh, Nothing at all seems to be happening. Oh yeah, maybe there we go. Yeah, seems we can't find what you're looking for. Okay, so I'm giving up on trying to find any vehicles for my modern African range. I really don't think they're there to be found. Um, but I have had some success in finding Freikorps' American Civil War range. So the thing to do is go into Freikorps and then um, Don't go into any of these categories. Notice, by the way, in passing, that here, this is a bad start if you're searching for something because they've misspelt Freikorps. It should be Frei, not Frie. So if you are searching for things like that, it's gonna the spelling mistake is gonna throw you straight away. Um, but if you were to just look for Freikorps pre 1900, and nothing seems to be happening there when I click on it. It really is a disaster, this website. Let's try it here, where they've spelled Freikorps correctly, and something is happening here. If you just look for Freikorps, no breakdown into, there's so many different periods that they cover, going right back to the Roman times, um, right through to the 19th century European wars. You've got 51 pages to plow through. There's no way you're going to go through all that. But I've discovered that you can. Where was it? I think it was under tags. If you roll through this, there, American Civil War 180. So that suits my purposes because I'm after American Civil War figures. So it comes up with all the American Civil War, filters out everything else. But you've still got 9 pages to go through. But now you're beginning to get, you know, illustrations, photographs of, the range, not in any seeming in any particular organized order. But what I'm after now, I'm going to buy particular pose. Just got to find it in the 1996 catalogue. Um, right, here we go. So I want, um, should have looked this up earlier. I want some for the Confederates. I want what used to be um, ACW 16 and ACW 16A, which was charging slouch hat. One is light equipment and the other is blanket roll. So let's see, going through the pages, if I can find anything that resembles that. There's no, that they haven't, it hasn't kept the old codes. So you just have to plow through all this page after page. It is a good demonstration, though, of the wide scope of Freikorps' range. It'll be such a pity if this does disappear, um, because they just did so much, so many unique units. Must be getting close. Right, so that's hat light equipment charging. So that's the equivalent of what Freikorps used to describe as ACW 16. And um, is there any slouch hat, blanket roll charging? I haven't seen it. Apologies if I've gone past it and you've noticed it and I haven't. Oh, right, there's KP blanket roll. Yeah, that's following there. KP light equipment charging, so that's the equivalent with the KP. Doesn't look promising at all. It would just be nice to have the same pose, with two slightly different. There is variations in the pack. You get 8 figures and they do vary a little, but it would be nice just to have some with blanket rolls, some with light equipment. It doesn't look as though we're going to get any. Right, so what I'm going to do then, I'm going to buy, um, where was it? Well, I'm going to buy 24 figures for the Union, 24 for the Confederates, and they're all going to be charging. And I will need the command. So is this going to be 8 figures? Does look like it, doesn't it? I'm sure the command packs just used to be 4 figures. £3.78. So I'm only going to need 4 of those 8 figures. If I have a unit of 24 figures, it's going to make it difficult, isn't it? 20. Oh, well, anyway, let's add one of these to the basket. And then go back to the previous pages. Find, that's the hat light equipment charging. So how many of those I'm going to need? I'm going to need 20. So I'm going to need 3/8. I'm going to need 3 of those. Um, so I've got one. So we put that up to 3. Oh, right. So now I need 3 KPs charging and 1 command charging. Command hat charging. So I need one of those. And just need to find KP charging. Look, you see, things like 83rd Pennsylvania's, they have this sort of French style shako and a longer tunic. Um, really well researched. Uh, Stocking caps, Zouaves. if I would put in a filter like charging, I would get charging figures from every period in history. So it does frustrate me. I've already forgotten. We're going to have to go back to the beginning. Advancing hat light equipment charging. I hope that's the one I'm after. So we'll add 3 of those. We're done. Command charging, light equipment, at charging. Oh no, it made a mistake there. I want KP charging, don't I? Oh, wonder if they've amalgamated the blanket roll. When I find the right set, I'll have a just quick look at the picture as well. Right, there it is. Yeah, right. Okay. So let's just have a quick look because they may have put the blanket roll. Yeah, look. So there's the blanket roll on one of them, and others are just in light equipment. So they've amalgamated the two, 16 and 16A. So we want 3 of these. No, we don't want that one. We want 3 of these. View basket. There we go. So £30. We're taking a little bit of a risk, as I say. That I've no idea, no way of knowing if this chap is still being deemed to commit piracy by selling these on his website, or whether the website, is functioning properly now, and whether I will get anything. But I'm going to buy these. Obviously, I won't show you all my banking details and things, but I'm going to make an order for these. It's 28th of August today. I'll film the arrival, if ever, of the figures and give you a final update. And then if they do arrive, if any of you are interested in acquiring these figures, at least it'll give you a bit of confidence that that they are still functioning. Okay, thanks very much for watching, everyone. Right then, so it is now Tuesday, the 23rd of September, and my purchases have just dropped through the letterbox. So I thought I would put them out with the catalogues that I was referring to earlier, just so that you can see how much better organised the old catalogues were to the current website. But the main point is they've arrived, so I've successfully acquired some more Freikorps figures, which I'm happy about. Not an unreasonable, not fantastically fast delivery, but under a month. So I've got them. I'm pleased. The sender's address was Tewkesbury, So I suspect that is the new owner. As you can see, as I was saying earlier, I think you can see here, the original Freikorps 15s were based in Bangor in County Down. This is back in, I put the date on this, luckily, 16th of December 96. But they went on, they went over to Quick Reaction Force. Yeah, there's a Quick Reaction Force brochure. So Quick Reaction Force, the owner was based in Southampton. This is from November 1998. And so, as I say, I think I've got these figures from the new owner who had this falling out with the old owner. So whether he does have the legal right and the license to be selling these figures, I don't know. Just I've got them. That's all that really matters to me. Whether that legal issue has been sorted out or whether it's still ongoing, I don't know, but gives you an idea of their availability, the figure availability. Unfortunately, as I said, sort of show you this Quick Reaction Force price list and brochure back from 1998, just to show you the modern vehicles. So all these World War II vehicles, looks like you can still get them on that website, very badly organised website. But when you get to these figures here, so the interwar years, Vietnam, Korea, Malaya, really useful. The Ferret, the Centurion, all these kind of things, which these Soviet vehicles here, the T-55s and T-62s. I've got a lot of these. They just don't seem to be there on the current website. So whether he will eventually get round to, he has got them for sale and just hasn't got them available on the website yet. If you notice on that previous bit of footage, earlier bit of footage, there are a lot of filters in there, but the filter results have got 0 against them. So, whether he's just not got round to organising it properly, I don't know. But there was some really nice. These are the really nice figures available that are really useful for AK-47 and modern African wars that just aren't there at the moment. But in terms of the Freikorps range, it is possible to get these figures, it appears, but just really chaotically organised. So you can see, like, Freikorps range goes right back to the Roman Empire, 30 Years' War, American Civil War, 7 Years' War, American War of Independence, Mexican Wars, just so much. But let's just show you, if I can zoom in. So as you could tell from my search, what I was after principally, hopefully you can read this, is ACW 16 charging slouch hat light equipment and ACW 16A charging slouch hat blanket wall, and I also wanted the ACW charging KP. There, this one here, ACW 15. I hope that's in focus. I think it is. ACW 15 and 15A, so charging KP light equipment and no, not is it advancing tunic KP blanket roll. So what the new website has done anyway is to include two different types. Show you the actual figures. Well, ignore the command bases. There were 8 figures in the packet, so got some for future use. Got more than I need there. Yeah, so if we've got basically, I've got 3 of ACW 20 and 3 of ACW 21. So they've clearly recategorised them, because ACW in the web on the original brochure going back to Freikorps when it was in Northern Ireland, ACW 20 would have been Zouave double march gaiters turban light equipment, and ACW 21 was Zouave double march gaiters fez and full pack. So obviously relabeled, recatalogued. So you can't go on the old catalogue numbers, but you do need them to reference the poses and so on. It is a much more useful descriptive description of the figures than you get on the current website. So here you have the ones in with KPs, and you can see here, hopefully you can see that you have both the light equipment, so without the blanket roll, and you have figures with the blanket roll, and these look far more as though they are advancing than they are charging. It's a different, they're not quite so length forward. So there you got charging, there you got advancing, but they count that all as light equipment charging. So they've gone a little bit astray from the correct and the original descriptions, but nevertheless they're here in my possession. So I'm a little bit more confident that they're not going to go out of production anytime soon. And with the ACW 21, which is the slouch hat version of that, you have, he's definitely charging, but he's got the blanket roll, and he looks a little bit more like he's advancing rather than charging. So again, here they've combined 2 different types into one new definition. So they define both those poses and the variants within the pose as being charging rather than charging and advancing. But I'm happy with that. They're not too dissimilar that you couldn't put them on the same base and make them look as though they're performing the same kind of movements. So I'll stop waffling. It's just really to give you the results of my own test purchase, to show you that despite all the difficulties that have occurred over the last year and all the argy-bargy on Facebook and so on, it is still possible to get these figures, and long may it continue, because I just think Freikorps range and ranges are just fantastic 15mm figures. So I'm pleased It's just a shame that they haven't got round to sorting out the availability of QRF's modern vehicles. Anyway, thanks for watching everyone. Bye for now.